I'm Robert, 30 years old, and I've been married to Pamela, 28F, for 5 years. We met during our sophomore year of college at a mutual friend's party. Pamela was studying marketing, and I was knee-deep in computer science. We hit it off immediately, bonding over our shared love for old sci-fi movies and terrible puns. Pamela was always the life of the party, outgoing and charismatic, while I was more of an introvert. But somehow, we balanced each other out perfectly. She pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I helped ground her when she got too caught up in the moment. We dated throughout college and got married a year after graduation. We both landed jobs in the tech industry in our city. I worked my way up to become a senior software developer at a large corporation, while Pamela excelled in digital marketing for a startup. We were doing well financially, especially after I got a significant promotion last year. We had been diligently saving for a down payment on a house, our dream home with a big backyard for the 2 golden retrievers we planned to adopt. Pamela and I had always been open about our finances. We had a joint account for household expenses and savings, but we also maintained separate accounts for personal spending. It was a system that worked well for us, allowing us financial independence while still working towards our shared goals. About 3 months ago, Pamela came home from work looking upset. When I asked what was wrong, she burst into tears. Between sobs, she told me that her sister, Amy, 32F, had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. The treatment was experimental and incredibly expensive, not covered by insurance. Pamela was devastated. Some background on Pamela's family. She and Amy lost their parents in a car accident when Pamela was 15 and Amy was 19. Amy had essentially raised Pamela after that, putting her own college plans on hold to ensure Pamela could finish high school and go to college. They've always been incredibly close, more like mother and daughter than sisters. Hearing about Amy's diagnosis, I didn't hesitate. I told Pamela we could use our savings to help Amy. It was a lot of money, $90,000 to be exact, but Amy was family. She had been there for Pamela when no one else was, and now it was our turn to be there for her. Pamela was incredibly grateful, thanking me over and over. She said she'd handle everything, transferring the money, dealing with the hospital, all the paperwork. I trusted her completely, so I didn't ask any questions. Over the next few weeks, Pamela seemed stressed, but I assumed it was worry about Amy. She was on her phone more than usual, but again, I thought she was just coordinating things with the hospital or checking in on Amy. I tried to be supportive without prying, knowing how difficult this must be for her. Then, about a month ago, I ran into Amy at our local grocery store. I was surprised to see her out and about, thinking she'd be in the hospital or at least resting at home. When I mentioned the treatment and asked how she was feeling, Amy looked confused. She had no idea what I was talking about. I tried to stay calm as I explained about her cancer diagnosis and the expensive treatment we were helping to fund. Amy was shocked. She told me she was perfectly healthy and had just had a checkup last month. Everything was normal. I felt like the world was spinning. I mumbled something about a misunderstanding and rushed home, my mind racing. When I got there, Pamela was on the couch, scrolling through her phone. I confronted her immediately, demanding to know what was going on. At first, Pamela tried to deny everything. She said I must have misunderstood Amy, that Amy was probably just trying to keep her illness private. But as I pressed her, recounting exactly what Amy had said, Pamela broke down. The truth came out, and it was worse than I could have imagined. There was no cancer. No treatment. Pamela had been having an affair for the past year with a coworker, Marcus, 35M. Marcus had gotten into some trouble with loan sharks, owing them $85,000. He had convinced Pamela to get the money from me, promising they'd run away together once his debts were paid. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The woman I loved, who I thought I knew better than anyone, had betrayed me in the worst way possible. She had not only cheated on me but had stolen our entire savings, money we had worked so hard for. Pamela begged for forgiveness, saying she had made a terrible mistake. She claimed Marcus had manipulated her, making her believe he was in real danger if he didn't pay off these loan sharks. She said she had planned to pay the money back before I ever found out, that she and Marcus were going to start a business together that would make us all rich. I was in shock. I didn't know what to do or think. I told Pamela to get out, that I couldn't even look at her right now. She left, crying and apologizing, but I couldn't bring myself to care. I've been staying with my best friend, Rick, for the past week. Rick and I have been friends since high school, and he's been an incredible support through all of this. I can't bear to be in our apartment, surrounded by memories of what I thought was a happy marriage. I've contacted a lawyer to discuss my options. The lawyer says that because Pamela and I had joint accounts, it might be difficult to prove theft in a legal sense. However, we might have a case for fraud, especially if we can prove that Pamela used deception to get me to agree to transfer the money. Pamela keeps calling and texting, alternating between begging for forgiveness and accusing me of giving up on our marriage too easily. She says if I really loved her, I'd understand that she made a mistake and give her another chance. I've blocked her number, but she keeps finding ways to contact me, through mutual friends, creating new email addresses, even sending letters to Rick's house. Her sister Amy has reached out too. She's furious at Pamela for using her like this, for lying about something as serious as cancer. Amy has offered to testify if we end up going to court, to confirm that she never had cancer and knew nothing about this scheme. I feel like my whole life has been a lie. Pamela and I had talked about starting a family soon. We had plans, dreams. Now, I don't know what's real anymore. Was any of it genuine? How long would this deception have continued if I hadn't run into Amy that day? I'm trying to focus on practical matters now. I need to figure out what to do about our apartment lease, which is in both our names. I can't afford it on my own now that our savings are gone. I'm considering moving to a different city, maybe even a different state. A fresh start sounds appealing right now. Work has been understanding, giving me some time off to deal with all of this. But I know I'll have to go back soon, to face all the pitying looks and whispered conversations. News of our separation has already spread through our social circle, and I'm dreading the inevitable questions and unsolicited advice. I'm also worried about the long-term impact of this. My credit score will likely take a hit. Our dreams of buying a house anytime soon are gone. I'm back to square one financially, at 30 years old. But mostly, I'm struggling with trust. How do I ever trust anyone again after this? Pamela was my best friend, my partner, the person I trusted most in the world. If she could do this to me, how can I ever let my guard down with anyone else? I know I need to start thinking about next steps. Divorce seems inevitable at this point, but the thought of going through that process is overwhelming. I'm not even sure I can afford a good lawyer now. Has anyone been through something similar? How did you move forward? Any advice would be appreciated because right now, I feel completely lost. How do I rebuild my life from here? Update 1 first, I want to thank everyone for their support and advice. Your comments and messages have been a lifeline during this difficult time. It's been a challenging couple of weeks, but I'm hanging in there. A lot has happened since my last post. After lengthy discussions with my lawyer, we decided to file for divorce and press charges against Pamela for fraud. It was a difficult decision, but I knew I couldn't stay married to someone who could betray me like this. The lawyer believes we have a strong case, especially with Amy's testimony and the bank records showing the large transfer. The day after I filed, Pamela showed up at Rick's place. She was a mess, crying and begging me to reconsider. She swore she had made a terrible mistake, that Marcus had manipulated her, and that she still loved me. She said she had broken things off with Marcus completely and was willing to do anything to save our marriage. I almost wavered, seeing her so broken. Part of me wanted to believe her, to think that maybe we could work through this somehow. But Rick reminded me of everything she had done, how she had lied repeatedly and stolen our future. I stood my ground and told her to leave, that any further communication should go through our lawyers. Then, something unexpected happened. Marcus reached out to me. He said he wanted to meet and explain everything. Against my better judgment, and Rick's advice, I agreed. I thought maybe getting the full story would help me move on. We met at a coffee shop near Rick's place. Marcus looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. He confessed that he had lied to Pamela about the loan sharks. There were no debts. He had convinced her to get the money from me so they could run away together. He had promised her a luxurious life, telling her he'd invest the money and double it in no time. But Marcus had a gambling addiction. As soon as he got the money, he blew it all at an underground casino. When Pamela found out, she was devastated. She realized she had thrown away our marriage for nothing. I was stunned. Part of me felt a sick satisfaction knowing that Pamela had been played too, but mostly I just felt tired. Tired of the lies, the betrayal, all of it. Marcus said he wanted to make things right. He offered to sign a confession, admitting to his part in the fraud. My lawyer says this could help in getting some of the money back and in the divorce proceedings. We're currently working on getting his confession formally documented. I don't know how to feel about all this. On one hand, I'm glad to have the truth. On the other, it doesn't change the fact that Pamela chose to betray me, to steal from me. Even if Marcus manipulated her, she made the decision to go along with it. She lied to me for weeks about Amy's non-existent cancer. She watched me worry and stress about her sister while knowing it was all a lie. Amy has been incredibly supportive through all this. She's furious with Pamela and has cut off all contact with her. She's been checking in on me regularly, making sure I'm eating and taking care of myself. It's strange, I always thought of Amy as Pamela's sister, but now I'm realizing she's become family to me too over the years. I'm still staying at Rick's, but I know I need to figure out my next step soon. The apartment lease is in both our names, and I can't afford it on my own now. I've started looking at smaller apartments in different parts of the city. I'm even considering moving to a different state altogether. My company has offices in several cities, and they've said they'd be open to a transfer if that's what I need. Pamela continues to try to contact me, alternating between begging for forgiveness and angry accusations. She blames me for not forgiving her, saying if I really loved her, I'd understand. She's even tried to get her friends to talk to me on her behalf. I've had to block several numbers and social media accounts. I'm trying to focus on myself now. I've started therapy, thanks to those who suggested it, and I'm slowly getting back into my old hobbies. I've picked up my guitar again, something I used to love but had let fall by the wayside in recent years. It's been a good outlet for all the emotions I'm dealing with. Work has been a mixed bag. My boss and immediate team have been understanding, but I can tell some of my coworkers are uncomfortable around me now. The pitying looks and awkward silences are hard to deal with. I'm throwing myself into my projects, using work as a distraction from everything else. Financially, it's been tough. I've had to dip into what little savings I had left to cover lawyer fees and living expenses. I'm looking at picking up some freelance work on the side to help make ends meet. It's not ideal, but it's necessary right now. I'm also dealing with the fallout in our social circle. Some mutual friends have taken sides, with a few surprisingly supporting Pamela. They say I'm being too harsh, that everyone makes mistakes. It's been eye-opening to see who my real friends are through all this. I'll update again when there are any new developments. Thank you all again for your support. It means more than you know. Update 2. I can't believe it's only been a month since my last update. So much has happened, I don't even know where to begin. First, the legal stuff. Thanks to Marcus's confession, we were able to recover about $30,000 of the stolen money. It's not much, but it's something. The confession also strengthened our case against Pamela. The divorce proceedings are moving forward, and my lawyer seems confident that things will go in my favor. I've moved out of Rick's place and into a small studio apartment. It's not much, but it's mine, and it's a step towards rebuilding my life. I've been slowly buying furniture and making it feel like home. It's strange living alone after so many years of sharing a space with Pamela, but I'm adjusting. Work has been a refuge. I've thrown myself into my projects, even taking on extra responsibilities. My boss has noticed and hinted at a possible promotion in the near future. It's nice to have something positive to focus on. Now, for the twist I never saw coming. Remember how I mentioned Amy had been really supportive? Well, it turns out her support wasn't entirely selfless. Last week, she confessed that she's had feelings for me for years. I was shocked. Amy had always been like a sister to me. She said she never acted on her feelings out of respect for Pamela and me, but now that Pamela had betrayed us both, she couldn't keep it in anymore. She said she had always admired how kind and dependable I was, how I had supported Pamela through tough times, and how I had always treated her, Amy, like family. I didn't know how to respond. Amy is attractive and we've always gotten along well, but I'm still reeling from Pamela's betrayal. The last thing I need right now is more complications. Plus, the idea of dating my soon-to-be ex-wife's sister feels wrong on so many levels. I told Amy I needed time to process everything. She understood but said she'd wait for me, that she knew we could be good together. She pointed out how well we've always gotten along, how she's always been able to make me laugh even in tough times. She said she knows it's complicated, but she believes we could build something real together. As if that wasn't enough drama, Pamela found out about Amy's confession. I'm not sure how, maybe Amy told her, or maybe Pamela overheard something. Either way, she showed up at my new apartment in a rage. She accused me of having an affair with Amy all along, saying this was why I was so quick to divorce her. I tried to explain that nothing had happened between Amy and me, that I had only just found out about her feelings. But Pamela wouldn't listen. She threatened to tell everyone that I was the real cheater, that I had been sleeping with her sister behind her back for years. I lost it. After everything she had done, she had the audacity to accuse me of cheating? I told her to go ahead, that nobody would believe her lies anyway. I reminded her of all the pain she had caused, how she had stolen not just our money but our future. I told her about the nights I had spent unable to sleep, replaying every moment of our marriage, wondering if any of it had been real. Pamela broke down then. She admitted that she knew she had no right to be angry, that she was just lashing out because she couldn't bear the thought of me moving on, especially with Amy. She begged me again to give her another chance, saying she would do anything to make things right. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. I could see the Pamela I had fallen in love with, the woman I had thought would be by my side for the rest of my life. But then I remembered the weeks of lies, the betrayal, the theft. I told her firmly that we were over, that she needed to accept it and move on. After Pamela left, I sat down and really thought about everything. I realized I'm not ready for any kind of relationship right now, not with Amy or anyone else. I need time to heal, to figure out who I'm outside of my marriage. I need to learn to trust again, and that's not going to happen overnight. I called Amy and explained this to her. I told her I valued her friendship and support, but that I couldn't offer her anything more right now. She was disappointed but said she understood. She promised to give me space but said she'd be there if I ever changed my mind. So here I am, still piecing my life back together. The divorce should be finalized in a few months. I'm focusing on my job and have even started taking a coding class to upgrade my skills. I'm trying to rebuild my savings, setting small financial goals for myself. I've also started volunteering at a local animal shelter on weekends. It's been therapeutic, spending time with dogs and cats who just want love and attention. It's helped me remember that there's still good in the world, even when things seem dark. I've been thinking a lot about trust and forgiveness. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to fully trust Pamela again, but I'm working on not letting her actions poison my view of all relationships. My therapist has been helping me work through these feelings. It's not the life I imagine for myself, but I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but I'm starting to see a future for myself that doesn't revolve around Pamela or our failed marriage. Thank you all for your continued support. I'll update again when there's more to share. Update 3. It's been half a year since this nightmare began, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. The divorce was finalized last month, and I'm officially a single man. It's a strange feeling, but also somewhat liberating. The legal battle with Pamela is over. In the end, we managed to recover about $40,000 total. It's not nearly what was stolen, but it's something. Pamela was ordered to pay restitution for the rest, but given her current financial situation, I'm not holding my breath. I've decided to let go of the anger about the money. It's not worth the emotional toll to keep fighting. Marcus faced consequences too. He was charged with fraud and is currently serving time. I hear Pamela still visits him in prison, which tells me all I need to know about her remorse. I try not to think about them too much these days. As for me, I've made some big changes. I quit my job and moved to a new city. It was scary, but also liberating. I'm now working for a startup, doing work I'm passionate about. The pay isn't as good as my old job, but the experience is invaluable. I'm learning new skills every day and feeling challenged in ways I haven't in years. The new city has been good for me. I'm far enough away from my old life that I don't have to worry about running into Pamela or dealing with gossiping acquaintances. I've made some new friends through work and a local hiking group I joined. It's nice to meet people who don't know my history, who just know me as I am now. Amy and I have maintained a friendship, but nothing more. We both agreed that pursuing a relationship would be too complicated, given our history. She started dating someone new, and I'm genuinely happy for her. We still talk occasionally, and it's nice to have that connection to my old life without all the baggage. I've started dating too, casually. It's been nice to meet new people without the pressure of a serious relationship. I'm not ready for that yet, but I'm open to the possibility in the future. I'm taking things slow, being upfront about my past and my current emotional state. It's been a good exercise in vulnerability and honesty. I've continued my volunteer work with animal shelters. In fact, I recently adopted a dog, a scruffy mutt named Max, who's become my constant companion. Having him around has helped me feel less lonely and given me a sense of purpose outside of work. Financially, I'm slowly but surely rebuilding my savings. I'm living more modestly than I used to, but I find I don't miss the material things as much as I thought I would. I'm more focused on experiences now, trying new things, exploring my new city, making memories. Pamela still tries to contact me occasionally, usually when she's had too much to drink. She'll send long, rambling emails about how sorry she is, how much she misses me. I've stayed firm in my decision to keep her out of my life. It's not always easy, but I know it's for the best. I hope she gets the help she needs, but that's not my responsibility anymore. Looking back, I can see how naive I was. I trusted blindly, never questioning, never suspecting. It's a hard lesson, but one I needed to learn. I'm more cautious now, but I'm trying not to let this experience make me bitter or untrusting. I'm learning to balance caution with openness, to protect myself without closing myself off completely. My therapist has been a huge help through all of this. We've worked through a lot of the anger and hurt, and now we're focusing on building a positive future. I'm learning to like myself again, to trust my own judgment. I still have bad days sometimes. Days when I miss the life I thought I had, when I'm angry about the years I feel were wasted. But those days are getting fewer and farther between. More often, I'm excited about the future and the possibilities it holds. To anyone going through something similar, hang in there. It gets better. Focus on yourself, surround yourself with good people, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. You're stronger than you think. Thank you all for being there through this journey. Your support and advice have been invaluable. I'm closing this chapter of my life now, looking forward to whatever comes next. Here's to new beginnings and second chances.